Of the 6,500 hymns written by Charles Wesley, this is generally considered to be his finest. It is still found in nearly every published hymnal and has been translated into almost every known language. It is interesting to note, however, that when Charles first presented this text to his brother John for approval, it was rejected as being too sentimental. It was not until after the author's death that the song came into general use. It was first published in 1740 in a collection of 139 hymns known as Hymns and Sacred Poems. Many authorities have acclaimed the greatness of this hymn. The Dr. Bodine said, "It is the finest heart hymn in the English language." Henry Ward Beecher, a noted American preacher of the past century, once wrote, "I would rather have written that hymn of Wesley's than to have all the fame of all the kings that ever sat on earth. It is more glorious, it has more power in it. I would rather be the author of that hymn than to hold the wealth of the richest man in New York. He will die after a little while, pass out of men's thoughts. What will there be to speak of him? But people will go on singing that hymn until the last tramp brings forth the angel band. And then I think it will mount upon some lips to the very presence of God." There are various stories concerning the experiences that prompted Charles Wesley to pen these words, though none has ever been completely authenticated. Several of these stories are described as follows. On his return to England in the fall of 1736, following his brief and disappointing experience in the United States, Charles Wesley was caught in a frightening storm at sea when it appeared for certain that all would be lost. Finally, on December 3, the ship reached land. Wesley wrote in his journal for that date, "I knelt down and blessed the hand that had conducted me through such inextricable mazes." Some writers state that during this storm experience, a frightened bird flew into Wesley's cabin and sheltered itself in his bosom for comfort and protection. Another account says that Wesley wrote this text while lying under a hedge, having been beaten up by an angry mob opposing his ministry. Still, others see this text as a picture of Wesley's own life as a young man as he struggled to find his peace with God before his conversion in 1738. A hymn of this quality, however, really doesn't need any popular account of its origin to give it added greatness. The meaningful simplicity of the text is sufficient. It should be noted that 156 simple one-syllable words appear among the 188 words of the text. Christ is presented as a lover, healer, refuge, fountain, wing, and pilot, the all-sufficient one. Truly, each believer can say with Wesley, "Thou, O Christ, art all I want, more than all in thee I find." Many different tunes have been used with this text, including several fine anthem and classical settings. The best known of these tunes in America is Martin, composed by Simeon Marsh, who was born in Sherborn, New York in 1798. He was an organist, choir director, and singing school teacher. One day in the fall of 1834, he wrote out this tune and called it Martin. No reason has been given for the significance of this name. It was originally intended as a new setting for one of John Newton's lesser-known hymn, Mary at Her Savior's Tomb. Because of this association, the melody is sometimes listed as the Resurrection Tune. 30 years later, Thomas Hastings, a leading American musician of sacred music, discovered that the Martin tune was well suited for Wesley's text and began using it with great response in his new publications. This is a hymn that never loses its appeal, for it speaks to the basic need of every human heart, a personal dependence upon the infinite God. Other hymns by Charles Wesley include Christ the Lord is risen today, Oh for 1,000 tongues, A charge to keep I have, Depths of mercy, and Hark the herald angels sing. Let us hear Sister Joyce as she sings Jesus, Lover of My Soul.